time. I believe looking at now, Astro took the lower semi against Vauxhall 3-1. I don't know the exact goal line for each game, but a 3-1 in the lower semis is pretty good, considering they swept Chorus as well in that lower first round. So I think they'll have some confidence going up against Spark. We'll have to see how well they do. It's a different thing, especially now they're on stream. It's going to be different for them to adapt to. They haven't been on stream at all tonight, so we'll have to see how they perform.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a lobby full of incredible talent, you know. I mean, yeah, we saw Eevee absolutely pop off, so aggressive, and Dispatcho as well, and Axel on the previous game, but you cannot kind of overlook the Astro side. They have Buddha, and Buddha at the beginning of this season was, you know, widely kind of, you know, agreed upon of being one of the top players in this league, you know. So I'm definitely looking for Astro to make this no easy feat.
No easy feat indeed. I've already seen the patience from Butter. He's taking his time to make these plays, but this one off the crossbar down from Axel. They get this one started rapid, as they do not want to spend any more time in the lower bracket. They'll want to look to get to the grand final as soon as they possibly can.
Indeed, they will. A nice start from Axel, and his, you know, shooting accuracy being incredibly impressive indeed. Always pinpoint his Dispatcher, putting it forward, trying to play, get a bit of a second touch. He does so off the backboard, and unfortunately the mistouch from Form is going to allow Axel to flick it over and get another one, and another one. Another one!
Possibly another. I think Butter was having some connection issues there. It was a bit of a 3v2 temporarily, as Mr. Zinx couldn't quite rotate quickly enough to deal with that play. We're already seeing Spark come out of the gates hot and ready to play, as we expected them to. I mean, we can almost see just very clearly the difference in skill almost from each individual player here. I don't know if Astro might need to take a little bit of time to get into themselves in this series. They still do have plenty of time to do so, but we know how dangerous Spark can be.
Yeah, and you know, when Spark are hot and feeling comfortable, you know, being aggressive, that's when they are most dangerous. However, but on the contrary, when it's kind of this manic defense like they're being put under now, that's where they're probably the weakest, and that's when Izuka gang is exploited. So you Astro really need to put away the opportunities like they had. However, they did not, and it's allowed Axel and Eevee to try and link up, almost put a shot onto goal. And Dispatchu there being the third man, following our play off the sidewall, almost getting a second shot, but a brilliant shot coming out from Mr. Zinx to deny a third goal for this Spark side. Astro trying to do everything to keep in this game. However, Dispatcher putting another shot onto it. Form doing a brilliant job saving it, playing it off the backboard. Mr. Zinx is there trying to play into the center for Form to do something with it. He does so. Form gets 50 boost to work with. Can he do anything? A bit of magic here. He almost does, but unfortunately, nothing comes with it. Mr. Zinx misses touch as third man, and Dispatcher is going to put away a third goal. That was a big misplay from Zinx.
A double tap off the low backboard. Smart play from Dispatch was almost saved by Form coming back off the rotation. Astro just really quite slow to get through their rotations, to get back into position. I imagine it's part of the boost game that they're not controlling right now, and it's doing a lot of damage to them. But a free shot from Buddha almost finds its way into the bottom right hand corner, just bouncing off up and out to the other side of the field, as Axel tries to link up with Dispatcho. Eevee with the third man play tries to keep this up, but it's an open net for Form. If he can finish it off, it's already rolling in. He won't need to touch it, as a finish from Buddha easily finds its way back, and that offensive play from Spark is starting to show a few cracks.
Starting to open up some space here. 3-1 though. I mean, we saw Nezuka come back and bounce back and brought the comebacks. However, this kickoff shot coming in from Eevee, almost putting a goal into the back of the net. Mr. Zinx almost trying to get a touch on the side wall, but not able to do so. And Dispatcho there once again putting in a fourth goal. I mean, this Spark side, they look, I feel like Astro just can't keep up.
Well, Form and Zinx, Mr. Zinx here, kind of got caught up amongst one another, just on the edge of their box. They're not rotating wide enough. I don't think they're communicating their positioning. nearly as well as they need to, and that's why it's giving Spark so much time and space to do whatever they want with it. You could clearly see it with Nezuko, how they played against Spark, that they gave them no time at all. They were constantly in their face when they were on offense, and they recognized that Spark does so much with so little space. It's why they appear to be so quick and so aggressive, because they're always staying up the field. They're always positioning in a very threatening manner, rather than always being quick and having as much boost as possible. They stay up the field. They trust each other to know when to rotate at the right time and when to overcommit to a play. And it's what gives them such a prolific offense, as we have here. Another one from Axel, putting this one away for his hat trick. And it's just easy play because they know that they have so much space in the midfield.
Are you going to see a Brazil?
I mean,
That's what's going to happen here. Is that going to happen? Is that going to happen here?
I wouldn't put it past Spark. They have plenty of time.
I mean, pain is what is exuding from this orange side right now. And I mean, Astro, they're such a solid team. And look at that right then, form. So, I mean, that's... I feel like this Astro side, granted Spark are playing incredibly, but I feel like Astro must be feeling, fairly hard done by. Their luck is just not on their side right now. We saw Buddha push on earlier, which just missed. We saw Form just then push on, which just missed. And they just seem to be faltering by inches. That is the margin they're losing out. But, with such a finite game, with such a precise game, inches are going to cost you 5 goals.
I know exactly what it feels like. I'm pretty sure everyone watching right now knows exactly what it feels like to see everything go against you when 50s don't work, when the pinches don't work, going off the crossbar, off the post, all those just little things. You feel like you're doing everything you possibly can to try and control the game, but sometimes it just isn't your day. It's certainly not Astro's day right now, as Spark take their 6th. That's 4 for Axel off of 5 shots. Great pinch by Dispatchio, opens this up. Buddha tries his best, but it just doesn't win out. And I mean, what more can you do as Astro? Obviously, they need to control the boost game. They need to know where they're going to position properly. The communication's off, from what I can tell, just looking at the field. But I think they still have it in them. I think they could bring something back in this series, possibly 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, Astro, they have definite potential. They were performing so incredibly well throughout the whole of regulation season. But look, the 7-1's going to go in. I think if Spark, competing in performing at this tempo, as much as I love the boys on Astro, I don't see them coming back.
I mean,
I think, yeah, they may take a goal. I think Spark, I think they're just too strong.
Astro a 4th seed. They swept Chorus in the lower round 1. They managed to beat Vauxhall 3-1. It's not like they can't play. It's not like they're not able to beat people. Spark are just terrifying. They are just so good at what they do, at controlling every aspect of the field, of being in the right position almost all the time. Nezuko managed to beat them because they were better at doing that, at beating them at their own game. And I think if Astro can figure that out, know what it is that they're doing wrong. They took a lot of goals there that they really won't have wanted to, that they know that they shouldn't have. They played really well when the defending was working. I mean, Zink's got 4 saves, Butter and Form both got 2, and that's kind of the nature of the devil, because Spark shoots so much, but I don't think they'll expect to play that way, especially in the next few games. There was definitely some connection issues for Butter in a couple of those goals where the rotation was off, so I think that's part of it. That's the reason that for maybe 2 or 3 of the goals that Spark scored. But the point is that they're taking those opportunities. That they're recognizing when Astro is in a bad spot, in a bad position, and they're just forcing the issue when that happens.
Yeah, they are indeed. And so, Spark looking incredibly hot. Can Astro pull something from outer space to come back and bring this second game? As we see now, the kickoff just about to start. And, in your mind, from your experienced eye, what's it going to take down Astro, Spark?
Well, to talk about it, you could just go back and look at what Nezuko did. They played their own game. They beat them so well at that. Eevee with another one just 11 seconds in. It seems like Astro haven't quite learned their lesson. It was great play from Axel. There's a certain point where your opponent's just really too good, and you cannot be in position to deal with them. But it's the counter that's going to win this one for Astro. We saw it in the goal that they managed to score, that it was when they found a gap in the rotation, when they knew that Spark had overcommitted, and they got to a point where they realized, oh, we have a chance here, we can control this. It just came off of nothing from midfield, but like here, Dispatcho passing to Eevee, they've got to recognize that instantly. They've got to cut off the passing lane, and that's when they find an opportunity, when there's two players pushed up, and they can run up the field and make an opportunity, because there's going to be gaps. They just need to recognize that and exploit it.
They do indeed, as Form gets a nice clutch touch off the backboard, but Dispatcho denies it as Form left in an awkward place. He does do well to, to prevent, the easy shot, but the touch coming out, leaning straight for Dispatcho, some brilliant patience from him, able to slot in a second goal, and it just seemed like Sparkers just continue their momentum from the first game. They're running all over this Astro side. Astro needs to really find this composure, and as you said, read the plays of what Spark are doing a little bit better. Almost a brilliant double touch attempt coming out of Eevee. So almost slotting another goal in. And with a Form now, brilliant job of dribbling.
Form.
Getting that demo, and there we go. Form with a brilliant goal. And that's exactly what you need to do against Spark's defense. Form dribbling it well. His teammate got a demo, cutting away any sort of opportunity. Axel almost gets the save, however, Form too precise with his flick. Brilliant job from Astro.
Exactly what we wanted to see from them. Have a little bit of patience on the offense. Recognize when those opportunities open up, as they did there. Stop the double commits. I think the Form had absolutely was completely blameless. Here's this falling for Axel to clear it out on the goal that the second goal that Spark scored. But Mr. Zinc double committed in the corner. The third man pushed a little too early, and then you can see that panic coming out because they expect Spark to play so much quicker than they're able to defend against, and so that they push up early and try to get that across. A great pass from Zinc to Form, already up the field. They tie this one up, and it seems like they're pulling something from outer space right now.
Yeah, they are. Zinc going interstellar with that pass onto Form. A brilliant job from him slotting it in, and now, answering back. Spark being punished for the mistakes they made, being punished for their aggression, and they definitely need to be worried. They definitely need to look at their defense and their rotation timing. Yes, it's all well and good trusting your teammates, but what a save coming out of Zinx! I was convinced that was going in.
I don't know how that wasn't a goal. It was a beautiful play from Axel to take it over two defenders on Astro. Didn't quite get the double tap, but he opened it up for his teammate, and Zinc just about managing to get back, keeping this tie intact. This opens up again. Zinc and Form try to connect, but Form a little too aggressive there. Didn't expect the pass to formulate. But they just need to keep playing how they're playing. They're seeing these gaps. There's a massive one here as Spark overcommit once more. I think that's what they do. They double down on the way that they tend to play and they're comfortable with, and that opens up a lot more gaps in the defense and when they're going up midfield. And when Astro recognize that, as they're doing right now, they can defend well, they can rotate well, then they find ways past this Spark offense.
Indeed, we see right now Axel is last person back, but Eevee really good job of challenging the ball in the midfield. Axel though going for a double touch off the wall, flicks it straight down to Buddha, who has to get a bit of an awkward touch into the corner. Eevee does miss his touch, however, but follows out once again with another touch, and right there is a really good example of the speed in which Spark like to play at. They will want to go for the touches as fast as they can, but Buddha was trying to play it patiently, and so now it did cut off the attack momentarily. However, Astro back on the offense, trying to make something happen. They want to take a lead over this Spark side. Can Form slot one in to do so? No, he can't, as Axel makes a really good save. Mrs. Inks does touch it off the ceiling. Axel trying to pop it high and forward, does bounce off the backboard. Anywhere to follow it up? No, they aren't. As we see, I believe that was Buddha able to get a touch away from the goal. either. So brilliant job from Astro on defense to identify Eevee, though does get demo onto Mr. Zinx. Dispatcher who's gone up nice and early. Can he get a touch onto the goal? No, he goes onto the backboard instead. And so back and forward right now, a bit of ping pong Rocket League right here.
Seen far less confidence from Spark going up the field. They're not committing as doubles nearly as much anymore. To see Eevee on his own going up the field. I mean, one of the Spark players was demoed out, but the play we saw so much from them that was working so much in game 1 is not quite working as much here. Dispatcher misses off the backboard. It's a double commit from Astro. That was a free goal. If they didn't double commit, kind of threw that one away. They have another counter-attack here if Mr. Zinc can do anything. He doesn't manage to do so. Dispatch goes up, gets the boost, gets it past Form. Almost. Form backflips. Can't quite get it to the corner though, as Astro's positioning has been so much better in this game. Another fake from Buddha. Opens that up for Zinc, but he didn't want to commit as the third man. That's wise of him. Just 20 seconds left to go, but a pass across the field for Axel to finish off. Form is just in the right place to clear it to the corner. They just about managed to keep overtime here.
Well, not overtime just yet. We know what Spark can do, but I do think you're right. It does look like it's heading in that direction. Is killed. Overtime right here. Who is going to ice up more? Can Spark clutch up, or is it going to be this interstellar side of Astro bringing it back, tying the series 1-1. Axel has gone up, playing it off the backboards. Dispatcher trying to follow it up with a shot of its own. Fortunately, Eevee has done a really good job rotating, collects the mid boost, gets a win on that 50-50. Really good job from him. Form is tracking, making it awkward as Axel is there, putting a shot into the goal, and so Ignite come out on top in the overtime, and this comes down to Eevee. Form, though, not with the best of touches, has allowed Axel to slot it straight in. You saw the Dispatcher right behind him as well, was also there to follow it up, and right now, Spark, they are up in this series 2-0.
That was a little unfortunate for Form. He didn't have much to do about that. I think he got bumped into the play, and he was forced to try and follow it up going across the midfield. Mr. Zink had just about drifted off the back post, expecting that play to come out of the corner a lot quicker than it did. And he was out of position to try and do anything. He had 3 saves in that game, but he couldn't manage to make that one as Spark just about take game 2. But jog my memory, Hop, did we see a single overtime in the Zuko versus Spark series?
No, we didn't. I believe we saw Spark clutching up when it came to an overtime possibility. So, oh no, we did. We saw one.
Did.
Well, yeah, we did saw one. I can't remember who. I think was it Nezuko gang. I don't know. You have to ask. Let's ask chat. Chat. Tell us. Can you remind us, please? Who did we have an overtime in the Nezuko gang Spark game? I can't remember for the life of me. But you know, overtime Spark able to clutch up, and they do seem to have a habit of doing that, scoring goals when it matters.
Definitely something we should be keeping track of as casters. We are so very good at what we do, Hop. But Spark are also very good at what they do. I believe that's 2-0 on the series now. That makes it match point for them. Astro are really going to have to clutch up here. I mean, we clearly see they have the capability to beat Spark. It's just not enough. That one last piece of the puzzle they need to figure out.
Yeah.
Get some alignment in their orbits. As Eevee goes up for this, gets it past the last man. It's up to the backboard. It doesn't quite get the double tap on target, but the effort was there. We've seen his capability of doing that as Dispatcho finishes this one off. It's the very same story for Spark going into game 3, and I'm looking. Well, I'm feeling a little worried for Astro if they can't quite find their form quickly enough.
Yeah, and I mean, especially when someone like Eevee is fragging out like that. Unbelievable attempt at the double touch, and you know, fortunately in the end of it, it ended in a goal. So momentum firmly in the hands of Sparks. We see Dispatcher trying to knock it forward. Axel gets a demo onto Form. As Axel being so disruptive in that backline. A brilliant 2 touches from Dispatcher, who gave an opportunity for Eevee to shoot. However, I believe that was Form who came off respawn to get a saver. However, Eevee following it up once again, and the attack from Spark is so deadly, and I know we saw Nezuko gang beat them. However, I'm gonna say it, I think Spark had the best attack in the playoffs right now.
I mean, saying that Nezuko did beat them, Spark have a very, very good ability to control the midfield, hitting it off the backboard. I think all 3 Astro defenders were sat on their goal line, and that's part of the reason that they're getting peppered with so many shots. They just can't clear them out before they come. And Form tries to finish this one off, but it almost gets a touch onto the net. Mr. Zink to the backboard. Form's going to finish it off, but Eevee was there, not quite there enough, as they finally get one back. About a minute into the game, a little bit of life from Astro, and it was actually thinking about it. Rotations are a little bit like orbits.
Exactly. Right now, kick-off begins. Spark lead 2-1 this game, lead 2-0 in the series. Eevee knocking it forward to Dispatcher where he was waiting. Goes off the back wall, pass down to Axel. What a team play was that? That was concerto, as in like not the team, but that was like a like an operatic level of play. Oh my words.
It's unbelievable positioning. I mean, we've seen it from time to time again. I don't think we've seen a 1-2-3 play from them yet. Well, we just did, and we're amazed by it. Clearly, the understanding between these teammates, you can't communicate that with how quick that was. I mean, Axel easily could have said that he was in midfield, but Dispatch still has to hit him. He has to pinpoint. He needs pinpoint accuracy to find him, and he managed to do so. It was a great setup from Eevee as well. Put that up the field. But it's just these little gaps that they're finding in the Astros' defense. They don't even need to be that big. They just need to understand where their opponents are in order to create those plays. They're not something that you necessarily draw up ahead of time, but they just kind of formulate organically. And Spark is so very good at doing that.
They are very good indeed. As Eevee Axel is there trying to play the shot into the center. However, Mrs. Inks was there to come off the backboard and put the touch in. Dispatcher though, keeping the pressure on, plays it off the backboard. Mrs. Inks does miss his touch at Eevee, trying to play it slow, gets a little bit of a nudge from his teammate, plays it twice off the backboard, 3 times off the backboard, 4 times off the backboard. No shots able to go in for this Spark side. However, Eevee is there, does hit the crossbar unfortunately, and Axel not able to follow it up with a shot of his own. Eevee doing a really good job of rotating back. Axel gets a touch over 1. Eevee trying to put some pressure on. Is he going to put it in? Yes, he puts it off the backboard once again. And there's so many backboard touches. How many times have they said backboard in this past couple of seconds?
Well, that past couple of seconds, I think maybe 4 or 5. But Spark just can't get enough of it. They want to hit it there because they know there's no defender. There's no one ready for it. They don't have the boost. As Mr. Zinks put this back to his own box, and Form had no idea that was coming. Eevee was the only one that read it as they take the 4th goal. Just obviously the miscommunication is there, the mispositioning, but it's a mentality issue for Astro. It's psychological. We know they're capable of beating Spark. Maybe not mechanically. We haven't seen as many like aerial plays and like double taps and flip resets potentially, but another shot from Form puts this away. They're not quite done yet. Bring it back to a 2-goal game.
Yeah, so Astro have the potential, but maybe missing that chemistry just a little bit. Is it 4-2? 2 minutes remaining. Anything left to play for? Any and everything left to play for in this game? As we see Mr. Zinks going for a kickoff goal, and they get it. So 4-3. I mean, Vector, we've got to stop making sweeping statements, because as soon as we make one, we're told we're disproved.
It's not over till it's over, Hop. That's all I can say. That's the only thing that you can. That's the only truth that there is at this point. You talk about constants and variables. The only constant is that the game is not over until the ball hits the ground at 0 seconds. We're back to a 1-goal game. As Astro find their way back, they almost tie it up there. Form still has control, almost gets the double tap off of Axel. That would have been a phenomenal play to bring them back into this. And that is the kind of play that I think you need to give your team some spirit, to lift them up, to make them hype. Need a bit of your casting up in the booth to give them that confidence.
Well, I wonder if they have it in the background as Dispatcher almost puts a shot on, and Eevee there to slot it in. The mechanics coming out of Spark is impalpable right now, and Mr. Zinks seems lost and strange, and it just seemed, even then, there's a few dings between each other, calculated
between this side as Axel and Buddha go for this kickoff. Mr. Zinx is there trying to put some pressure on over there. Eevee, third man, does a really good job of reading that touch. Form off the backboard, maybe looking for his teammate. Not the best of touches, almost allowed Dispatcher to score another goal. But it comes of nothing as Form able to get the clearance as Axel comes off his own backboard right now, trying to follow it up, and he does so. Good 50-50 from Zinx and Axel, allowing Dispatcher to put the ball towards goal. Bit of a double commit. Axel tries to get another shot. Wow, where their teammate Form on the Astro side, able to mitigate any damage being done. Buddha tried to put a shot on, clearance on. However, nothing comes of it as Axel gets a lovely angle, putting it to the back of the net.
You can clearly see the panic coming out from Astro. They're just going for clears and hoping for the best. They're not taking their time communicating where their opponents are in order to get the best opportunity wherever they are on the field. Spark taking 3 goals above Astro, and I think this is the result that Nezuko had against Spark in that Game 5 in the last series. They're looking to show Nezuko that they're here to play.
Exactly, Nezuko gang, they're saying, if you can do it, look, we can do it better too. So, really good plays coming from Spark as Dispatcho going off the sidewall. We've seen what he can do, but decides to play it off the backboard of the corner even to look for his teammate. And he steals the boost away from Form, which is going to make it really difficult for any sort of save to come off. Eevee plays it off the backboard once again, and Dispatcho there, following it up, 7-3. This game's over.
That will be pretty much all she wrote unless Spark decide they want to score a few more goals. They have plenty of time to do so from their respect. 19 seconds is nothing to them. That's such a ridiculous scoreline to look at. Hope. I mean, 3 goals for Eevee, 2 assists, 3 saves. Every single player has at least 2 goals and 2 assists on Spark.
That's mad. That's a mad stat line to have. Just consider the amount of effort and the amount of team cohesion that you have, 2 goals and 2 assists for each one of your players. Form gets a redeeming goal here, so that it could well be a bit of a mental boost for them. Getting a goal at the end of this game where they were, destroyed, but the brilliant finish from Form. That's going to give it surely a bit of a mental boost for this side. However, actually, I do think I'm completely wrong because that is going to be it for Spark. Spark is going to go into the grand final to face Nezuko gang once again.
Yeah, a 3-0 sweep in the final in unbelievably convincing fashion for Spark. They are sending a statement. They are sending waves through this entire playoff bracket. They are going to go and play Nezuko gang once again in a best of 7. 8 games at minimum. And that's if they sweep both series. They're going to have to go through a bracket reset to take this. And Nezuko are ready and waiting to say no to them. Panda is ready and waiting to score even more goals on them. And it's been a fantastic couple series to cast with you, Hop. I don't think I'll be here for the grand final, but I hope you're the best.
I have genuine tears. They're coming out. They're coming out, all right? But, Vector, it is a pleasure as always to cast you. But before we do go to a break, I'd love to have your 2 cents into that series. Was it Astro being lackluster, or was it Spark just being that good?
Well, after game 2, I really felt like Spark could bring Astro into this series. It was so close. I mean, to be able to stop Spark scoring as many goals as they're capable of, you saw it in the last game, 7 over their opponents, to keep them to a 2-2 game and bring it into overtime. I thought they had it in the bag, but it was just, like I said, at the middle of game 2 or something, it's a psychological issue, it's a mentality issue. They were perfectly capable of playing the game, of winning out their individual battles especially, but the team play from Spark was just, it was unplayable. Like you said, unpalpable. It was so difficult to find any sort of rhythm or understanding between one another. When you're under so much pressure, when it gets to you, it kind of breaks the bonds between you as teammates, and you start playing as individual solo players. And if no one's capable of doing that and stepping up and sort of carrying the team on their back in those situations, then it all starts to fall apart. And that's what we saw unfold in game 3. And all the credit to Spark. They were so good at doing that, so good at getting under their opponent's skin, especially with the way that they played in the aerial game, that I just think Astro didn't have much chance once they got that locked in.
Yeah, I could not agree more. Spark dialing in the digits, sending themselves into Stellar and taking out the Astro. Unbelievable plays from them. And we are going to go to a quick break before we hit the grand final, which is going to be between Spark and Nezuko Gang. And before we do so, Vector, I want you to give me a prediction. What's the grand final? What's the scoreline going to be?
I want it to go to bracket reset just because I feel like Spark have earned that at this point. I feel like they should be able to get at least 4 games off of Nezuko. They managed to get 2 in the upper final. But I think Nezuko's going to take it. I called it in the upper final itself just based on how they played. I don't think it's going to be a bracket reset. I think maybe it'll be a 4-3 or a 4-2 to Nezuko in the first one. But I imagine I'll end up beating my words, and Archeon will be mad at me if if they're cursed for that one. I apologize in advance, but I'm looking forward to watching the series anyway.
100%, 100%. Well, guys, thank you very much for sticking around and do not go anywhere. We've got some more brilliant Rocket League action ahead of us. It is going to be the Challenger Playoff Finals. Spark versus Nezuko Gang. We're going to have a bit like 25-minute, half an hour break so I can get, warm up my vocal cords once again so we can have a brilliant final. Guys, get people into this stream. We want as many people in here as possible to see the grand finals, guys, so don't go anywhere. Grab yourself some coffee, grab yourself some food, grab yourself some water. We'll be right back with some more Rocket League RSC action. See you soon.